Hello and welcome to my world and yet another commentary video where we managed to do one on back-to-back weeks. Would this become a trend? Who knows? Anyway, back in February of this year, I started playing Persona 5 Royale. I thoroughly enjoyed my experience with that game, even with using a guide to make sure I got all the achievements unlocked as it pertains to PlayStation 4 trophies. It was a wonderful experience, and matter of fact, I'm very much looking forward to playing it again on an Xbox console to get the all the Xbox achievements. So again, a game I'm very much looking forward to re-experiencing. I played Persona 5 Strikers, which was an awesome experience in terms of its story and further expanding upon the relationship between the Phantom Thieves and how they bounce off each other in terms of their personalities. I played Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. Again, a further expansion on the Phantom Thieves and their personalities. And it just made me think, wow, these is the best collection of characters I have seen overall since the Mass Effect trilogy. So it's a positive vibes as relates to Persona 5, and it's over the course of 3 games and about 170 to 180 hours played, give or take. Now, the same to some degree can be said about Persona 4 characters. Granted, my only exposure to Persona 4 has been the Xbox 360 version of Persona 4 Arena, which I played for the first time earlier this year, but I went through the story mode for every single character that is in that game. And the vibe and connection of the investigative team from Persona 4 certainly comes across very well in how they interact with one another and their overall personalities, and you get an idea of who's the most straight laced, who is the most ridiculous, who is the most likely to kill someone just by cooking. That all comes across there. And keep in mind, I have not played Persona 4 at all. Matter of fact, I do have a sealed copy of Persona 4 for the PlayStation 2, which I got a few years ago with the intention of streaming it. But, anybody that knows my back catalog of games, I eventually get to things at some point in time. But with Persona 4 Golden coming out on Xbox consoles next year, I guess we'll keep this copy sealed. Now, Persona 3, which is of course represented in Persona 4 Arena, I didn't really get much of a vibe of how these characters are supposed to their relationship to one another, because they came across as very straight laced. Akihiko and Mitsuru come across as being almost like two sides of the same coin. It's like their personalities seem very similar, as they both seem very straight laced, very serious characters. Aegis, while likable to an extent, her entire story and personality seems to be very dependent on Labrys, who was a character created for Persona 4 Arena. So it's like, okay, did I pick up on anything about Aegis that makes me think that she's will be interesting when playing Persona 3 Portable next year? No, there wasn't there. Elizabeth is the one saving grace of the characters from Persona 3 that were represented in Persona 4, mainly because she just seems completely ridiculous, and her motivations were made extremely clear that she is looking for a way to rescue the protagonist of Persona 3. So Elizabeth kind of gives that vibe that is a character that you want to get to know, but it's quite clear that she's the Velvet Room attendant, so she's not really, as far as I know, is going to be a party select member in Persona 3 Portable. And those feelings that I have and thoughts have been further expanded upon since I started playing Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight this past Friday. Elizabeth comes across her dialogue when she's speaking directly to the protagonist alone really establishes that, okay, she has her motivations, like her motivations for doing the dance off, the Velvet Room Ball versus to counteract Caroline and Justine in terms of presenting their respective Velvet Room guests one another from in two different perspectives. It's actually justified in Elizabeth's sense. And there is a bit of dialogue in one of the social link scenes of that implies that she wants to give the P3 protagonist some sort of enjoyment because she knows what already happens to him in terms of how the timelines and things essentially works. So again, outside of that, that's like the only real motivation I have to play Persona 3 Portable next year. Is just to see exactly what like what leads to Elizabeth being so driven to wanting to rescue the protagonist from Persona 3. Of course, I could already find that out if I was to just unseal this copy of Persona 3 FES for the PlayStation 2. But again, with Persona 3 Portable coming out next year on Xbox consoles, I am essentially just going to leave this sealed. Granted, one will argue this is the definitive version and the version that most people should play, but again, Xbox achievements. Like I'm more driven to play the P3P next year, even though it probably will be played after I play Persona 4 Golden. It's just like, okay, just drop it in as a secondary game there to be played towards the back end of next year, well, depending on when P4G and P3P get released. I understand that they're supposed to be released at the same time, and hopefully they're being released as a double pack at a moderate value. If they're being released in a bundle pack at $60, justifiable. If they're being released separately at $60, I'll wait for a sale at that point in time. Of course, I have to play with the Persona 4. I think it's called Dancing All Night. I think it's called, and Persona 4 Arena Ultramax. So I got. Granted, one is going to give me more. The Persona 4 dancing game is going to give me more of a reason to really want to play Persona 4 Golden, while Persona 4 Ultramax will probably be like give more justification for me either dreading or actually changing my perspective on the characters of Persona 3 prior to actually playing Persona 3 Portable. It's really that simple, or not so simple. See, I don't do this with a script, folks. It's just a stream of consciousness and complete bullshit that I'm saying. Any which way, I would say like, comment, subscribe, but who the hell actually does that? I know I sure as hell don't, and I watch about 24 regular channels on a regular basis. Like, I don't need to like, comment, or subscribe. YouTube shoves them up on my main on the homepage every single day. And on that bombshell, I'll wrap this up here. So maybe we'll talk to you next week if I come up with another commentary video. But other than that, I'm on Twitch every single night, twitch.tv/FredKazdan. So we'll wrap this up here. Talk to you later. Maybe. Who knows? Bye.